Hey everybody, and hello humans. This is Not a Robot's DC Comic Review Show. This week, we finish up their first month in the Infinite Frontier. We are covering The Flash, number 768, Strange Adventures, number 9, Superman vs. Imperious Lex, number 3, and Batman Catwoman, number 4. My name is Brandon, and today I've got my amazing co-host here with me, Rob.
Run, Barry. Run.
Awesome. And Josh.
Hello, humans.
We're here to summarize, analyze, and editorialize every issue we cover without worrying about what the publishers think. We are on Twitter at NotARobotComics. Rob is at Rob_2814, and I remain allergic to Twitter, but that may change someday. We all answer show mail sent to notarobotcomics@gmail.com. The next part is dedicated to those that support us with their hard-earned money, but that's not the only way you can. Like, subscribe, download, and share our episodes as much as possible. It helps get the word out, and that's the best kind of advertising. Now is the time to say a big thank you to the humans who help us support the podcast. They subscribe to our Patreon with tiers starting at just $1 a month so that we can make sure to keep bringing you more content. This is the Not a Robot Must Be a Human shout-out and roll call. And that shout-out goes to our humans, Weird Science Jim, Blue Mondays, Hollister, and Roch Crockett. A big salute to all of you, and an even bigger thank you. So what are you waiting for? Sign up now and show us you just might be a human after all, and get a shout-out on the Not a Robot Must Be a Human roll call. Alright guys, what's new this week?
The Flash, honestly, big news. I didn't say Run, Barry, Run just because I thought it was fun. Like, it's been on my mind this week. The TV show, we're finally getting more Williamson stuff. And if you guys watch it,
I used to. I watched until like season. Oh man, what is it on? Season 100 right now. I think I watched until like. All right, so I watched The Flash all the way up until Arrow ended.
Okay.
So whatever season that was.
Oh yeah, no, you got farther than I did. I think I got up to like season 3, and then I was just kind of like,
probably a good place to stop.
Lost my interest.
They started doing the forces now.
Oh.
The 4 forces, yeah.
Yeah, no, that is
really?
It's recent.
Yeah.
Like the Forever Force and the Strength Force and all
Strength
that.
Force, yeah, the Still Force in them, yeah. And
That's pretty
Impulse
cool, man.
is coming this season too.
There's supposed to be a Forever Force, like once you collect all of them together, right? That's what they call it. That'd be a pretty cool. That'd be a pretty cool thing to see on a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then I haven't kept up with the show, but I heard they're bringing in Bart Allen or something.
Yeah, he's been cast.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I know they had him on Smallville, but you know,
not the same thing, man. Not the same thing.
Yeah, not.
No offense, Jared.
Not
my brother listens to this one, so that's going to tick him off. He's probably seen Smallville. I mean, I don't know how many times, but I bet you it's at least a dozen. From start to finish.
Yeah, it's quite the show.
I mean, it was a pretty good show.
Yeah.
This week, I had to get my septic pump, and so that was fun.
Oh.
And of course, you got to go out and check and see it and make sure that it's completely empty. So that was expensive and gross.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things DC comic related to talk about other than just saying Justice League was awesome and I want to see more. Mm-hmm. Apparently Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson wants to see more too. He apparently wants to face off against Snyder's Justice League. And there's something out there that's saying that he has exclusive creative control over the Black Adam movie franchise.
Oh, shit.
So supposedly his decisions have more weight than the WB executives. Now, again, this is all just rumors, but that would be awesome, man.
If anybody would have more say over WB, it'd be Dwayne Johnson.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
he's arguably the biggest movie star in the world.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hell, if anybody could make it happen, I suppose it would be him, huh?
Yeah.
Would they call it the Rockverse after that, though?
Yeah, something like
I thought
that.
that was funny.
Yeah.
All right, so there's one more bit of DC news. I guess DC didn't learn their lesson when they asked if they should kill Jason Todd. I'm just kidding, but they are they are asking for our opinions again. In a tournament bracket, round robin style, we've been given a specific list where we can vote on predetermined pairings of titles. The winners will progress to the next round, and you can vote on the DC Comics Twitter page. That's at DC Comics, of course. It's at the very top, and it's a pinned tweet, and it's easy to vote right there. You can find descriptions of the stories for the titles in the community section of the DCUniverseInfinite.com website. I want you to consider the pairings as I read them, though. So the pair-offs right now are a Green Lantern's book with Kyle Rayner up against a book about Etta Candy leading an all-female team. That's the first one. The Brave and the Bug with Ambush Bug versus a bunch of other Ambush Bugs, or a solo book about Zatanna. A weird Lobo/Animal Man book, or one about the son of the Creeper. A book about all of the Robins talking at a coffee shop, or a book about Justice League Queer. And that's the actual name, and I just want to say that I think that they could have came up with something totally different. Like, just when I heard that, I'm like, why didn't they could have called it JLI, like Justice League Inclusive or something. I mean,
well, it's probably a working title.
Justice League
it sounds
Queer
like a
was,
working title. Yeah, no,
I hope so.
Yeah, it sounds like a working title, because I feel like you wouldn't put a book out on the market like that. Not that there's no place for it, more just like, you need something a bit more creative than just JLQ.
Right. I mean, I get it that, Q is part of the LGBTQ community, that's queer, but still, I mean, I just feel like you could have put something better on there. I think inclusive or something along those lines would have worked better.
Yeah,
but anyway,
it
all
definitely
right. So
sounds like a working title, but yeah.
But anyway, the next one is a Jessie Quick book, where she loses her powers, up against Jimmy Olsen and Super Pets. A Blue Beetle solo book versus a book featuring Night Runner. And a Swamp Thing book.
I love how they have to do a round robin style tournament just to give us a Blue Beetle book again. That feels kind of pathetic.
And I like Night Runner. I mean, we haven't seen Night Runner in quite a long time,
not
but
so like Batman
Night Runner was pretty cool. A Swamp Thing book that isn't Alec Holland or the new Avatar, but someone else in the past, and that's running against something called Suicide Squad 7 that's being led by Harley Quinn. And finally, you can vote for either an Asteria solo adventure. Spoiler alert, that's who Linda Carter played at the end of the last Wonder Woman movie. Or you get a Superman and suited up superpowered Lois on a mission in space.
Oh.
Doesn't it seem like these are slightly tilted here, these brackets? Yeah. I feel like there's no chance of a Justice League Queer or whatever you call it when it's up against a book with the Robins in it.
Yeah.
Jessie Quick or the Super Pets?
I don't know.
Sorry, but the crowd is going to pick Super Pets every time.
Yeah, I have not casted my vote yet, but I'm going to say something that's going to get me fired from this podcast. And that's that I regrettably will not be voting for the Robins book, because we kind of already have a Robin book right now, and it feels kind of weird to have a Robin and then a Robins book. Unless it was a mini-series, but even then that might be a bit confusing just in terms of the sales market. So I'm afraid my vote will likely have to go to the Kyle Rayner Green Lantern book. I know, woe is me that I have to choose between those two, but
the Kyle Rayner Green Lantern book is going up against an Etta Candy book.
Yeah, no, I'm confident in that one.
Yeah, so the Robins book is going up against Justice League Queer.
Yeah, no, it seems like DC's definitely trying to tap into the March Madness market, trying to get people to
definitely, right?
pick their winning one. So I'm putting it all on Kyle Rayner.
It's just weird, man. You think that's who's going to go all the way?
I hope so. I mean, I feel like it'll probably be Robins, but in my heart, again, I just like. If you already
I
have
don't know, man. I hope people go to the website and see what it is, because yes, it's a Robins book, and yes, everyone loves when the sidekicks get together. I get that, because they're awesome characters. But the premise of the book is them just sitting around in a coffee shop talking.
Well, I'm assuming there's going to be more, because they talked about, like, they're going to give the creative teams and the pitch, And honestly, I mean, I know we have to vote now, but like, I feel like I really wouldn't make up my mind until I knew who was writing the book, right? Because if you got someone absolutely incredible to do a Robbins book, like, you know, let's say Peter Tomasi, who knows those characters, I'd say better than anyone. Then yeah, it'd be pretty hard to
Yeah, you got a
justify
point
it.
there.
If you got like Peter Tomasi to do the Robbins book, and then you got like I don't know, you know, maybe someone who's not as well known, but I'm sure could do a good job, but just not as well known to do the Kyle Rayner book. I'd probably put more faith in the Robbins book than I would the Green Lantern, just because I'm familiar with the creative team. But
You're just dismissing all the other books that
I
are
know.
there, saying these are going to be the
sorry.
last two that are in Mortal Kombat.
I know it. I know my market well. I know my comic book fandom well.
I mean,
Yeah,
I would
I could
kill
agree
to
with
have
that.
a Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle.
Yeah, no,
You know,
that's
I would
my
love
point.
that,
I'm
but
just like,
I also want to see a Night Runner book.
yeah, I would.
That's disappointing, and I have to vote for Blue Beetle because I love Jaime Reyes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pissed.
yeah, no, it is a real sad sign of the times that they have to put him in a contest just to give him a book.
I mean, I don't mind the contest, but maybe.
Oh, yeah.
maybe I don't know. It just
For
feels
Blue Beetle.
like all of them have
God.
clear-cut winners here in the first
Yeah.
round at the very least.
Well, there are some if you go to the voting pages, there are some percentages shown, and there's still like 6 days left in the voting, but some have clear victories already.
Yeah,
Like Green Lanterns is winning by 74%.
Yeah,
Which one is?
So Green Lanterns beating Etta Candy, 74 to 26.
Well, right, because
Yeah.
there's no chance that Etta Candy is going to win over any Green Lantern book.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's just a little tilted.
And then
You know,
have,
everyone's going to vote for Superman and Lois and not Asteria, no matter whether or not she was in the Wonder Woman movie or not.
well, because
right
you're gonna
now-
have a crowd of people who are just like, who the hell is Asteria? You know what I mean?
Right.
But they know Superman and Lois.
Because I'm worried that people are going to go to the Twitter poll and they're not going to read the descriptions of the books, and they're just going to make their vote based on the titles of the books or the people in them. Where's that poll at right now with Superman and Lois versus Wonder Woman?
Believe it or not, Asteria's winning 52% to 48%.
Ooh, wow,
Yeah,
that's pretty
so
cool,
that
dude.
is-
But I mean, that's
probably
still really close.
That's not the closest match, actually. Swamp Thing, 51%. Suicide Squad 7, 49%.
So
That
I'd
was
be
really
interested
tight.
in reading both of those ones too.
Yeah, they both sound interesting.
All right, should I quit my rant now?
No, please keep going.
This is fun.
It's just I feel like these beginning brackets are already a little set up and one-sided, man.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like, dude, I would love to read a Lobo and Animal Man book. I mean, that's such an odd pairing, and apparently Lobo is supposed to be the good guy in this, so that's odd. But ever since reading The Creeper in Tom Taylor's Deceased, I really want to read this Son of the Creeper book, man.
Son of the Creeper.
Yeah, he made me give a shit about the Creeper. What can I say?
Yeah.
Yeah. They all these books sound really interesting, though. I'm not gonna lie.
And you know, honestly, there's another thing. I'm disappointed that we don't get a. This is gonna sound stupid. Everybody's gonna say what? And you have a problem with Crime Syndicate? But I would love to see like a Solomon Grundy's mini, like a 3-issue. Give me a 3-issue story arc. That's just a solo from Solomon Grundy, and that would be cool as hell.
I'm surprised no one's tried it before. It sounds like
I
something
would
they
like to
do.
see Stefan Sejic do it. He could draw that like crazy, man, and he'd be really good at the story too.
Oh, yeah.
Put it on Black Label so it
Yes.
can get a little ridiculous.
So yeah, Solomon Grundy just tear
But
people
yeah,
to
no,
pieces.
I fully expect that some of these titles are just going to get absolutely trounced. And some of them might have a fighting chance, like you said, with Swamp Thing and Suicide Squad. But yeah, no, putting Justice League Queer versus Robins, putting Etta Candy versus Green Lanterns, any Green Lantern, it's just no contest.
Yeah.
No, it's not. And I mean, the Super Pets are gonna beat the hell out of Jesse Quick, I think.
Really?
But
I might put
yeah.
more stock in Jesse Quick, just because I think there are a lot of like Flash family fans who might want to see that.
I mean, that's true, but I mean, she hasn't really been a huge character, and I'm worried that again, people are gonna say Super Pets. Like, I'm worried that the vote's gonna swing more pop culture based than it will comic fan based. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, but yeah, I don't know. I know for me, like I said, I'm hoping it's either Green Lanterns or I mean, as much as I might enjoy Robins, and I would almost certainly read it, I don't know. I don't know if there's a place for it, unless it's a miniseries. But even then, it would feel like it'd be hard to justify buying it because it's like I already have a Robin book, and if you want to have a Robins team up, you could just put it in the Robin book and save yourself some money.
Yeah.
Right? And so okay, so basically I guess my problem is that I want to see minis of all of these.
Yeah.
You know, and I do, even if they're digital, and let us check them all out, and the ones that sell keep going. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, that's your regular model anyway. Why not do that? Digital books are much smaller. People buy the 99-cent things or $1.99 things, like, you know, pretty good. Why not go that route? All right, okay, I'm done. I'm done with my rant.
Hey, it might go that way, and like they could have the one winner be like a 12-issue physical maxi series, and then the rest just be digitals.
That I would take too.
Yeah.
And I promise we'll cover them all. Well, I mean, kind of, maybe.
Yes, we will.
Okay, so we probably won't cover them all, but
okay, but we can try.
We'll cover the good ones.
All right. Well, we are closing out March with the last week of our Infinite Frontier books. Even though we only have one Infinite Frontier book out this week, we also have a brief flashback to Future State, and not one, but two Black Label books from everyone's favorite controversial writer, Tom King. So let's close out this month with a bang. Rob, take us through Flash number 768.
Okay, this one comes from Jeremy Adams writing, with art by Brandon Peterson, Marco Santucci, David LaFuente, with colors by Mike Atiyeh, Arif Prianto, and Luis Guerrero, and letters by Steve Wands. So, Wally's back, exciting, and now he's gone.
Woo-hoo.
Sad.
Oh no!
In a meeting with the Justice League, Wally's deciding to step down from being a hero. His life has been rough recently with the kids and Linda, and he still feels guilty about what happened with Roy. Green Arrow more than agrees. Barry, on the other hand, supports Wally no matter what choice he makes, including his next one. He wants to give up his powers and needs Barry to absorb them in a race. They suit up and head to Central City for the last race they will ever have. As they go around the planet, they stop various villains in the middle of committing crimes, all while maintaining the race. Finally ready to do the speed removal, they go a little faster, and an explosion in the Speed Force appears behind them. It hits Wally, and he disappears, leaving behind only his costume. Barry grabs the suit and goes to run back to the Hall of Justice, but finds out his powers are gone. Now stuck in Paris, he calls Green Arrow to pick him up in a javelin. Meanwhile, Wally wakes up in prehistoric times in the body of a caveman with a mysterious lightning bolt over his left eye. After realizing he still has his speed, he tries to travel forward through time but cannot get up enough speed. His lightning attracts the attention of a velociraptor, which also has super speed, which I've dubbed the High Velociraptor. While Wally is being chased, Barry, Green Arrow, and Mr. Terrific have found a way to contact Wally through the Speed Force. They make contact, and after comparing notes, Barry theorizes Wally was caught in a surge of Speed Force energy that projected his consciousness through time into an open conduit, a being with a connection to the Speed Force. Due to his strong connection to the Speed Force, it chose him to fix whatever is wrong with it. Before they can continue, the Raptor finds Wally again, but freezes and explodes like the Speed Force did during the earlier race. The wave of energy catches Wally, and the connection to Barry is lost. Mr. Terrific is able to reestablish connection to Wally, who is now in the future in the body of Bart Allen, Impulse himself. But before he can form a plan, a giant Dominator attacks, and Gold Beetle returns just in time to tell him to run. So yeah, we finally get Wally back. I'm excited. Sidekicks all the way.
I'm excited for Wally, period. I don't want Wally as a sidekick. I want Wally as a
definitely,
Flash.
Yeah.
He was the Flash when I was born, when I was growing up, and in the cartoons and the comics. This is the Flash I know.
Yeah. And I think
I'm cool with Barry being a space Flash.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, no, I prefer this setup because I was hearing like Josh Williamson talk about it, and he's like, yeah, I mean, Barry's the first person who kind of learned about the multiverse, so it makes sense for him to be like Earth's representative for the multiversity.
Yeah.
And like honestly,
absolutely,
if that's where he's gonna be for forever, I don't really have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, as long as the stories keep going good. They don't seem to last very long when they're out in space in the DC universe, though. That bums me out. I know I'm like maybe one of 3 people, but I love Justice League Odyssey, and it just floundered, man. That was a bummer.
Yeah. I think you're one of the 3 people that actually read Justice League Odyssey.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I tried a few times to read that. Though, I still want to get back into it, but it when I had to curb my pull list, that was one of the unfortunate cut-offs, like twice. But it really was an interesting concept, that one.
It was a pretty good story. I enjoyed it anyway.
Yeah, so with The Flash, I thought this is a great hook issue for new readers as well. For somebody not familiar with comics or new to comics, just jump in with this. There's very little backstory to really to catch up on. The art was fantastic all around, I think. That raptor looks so cool.
It does. Raptor with the Speed Force is frightening.
Yeah.
Okay, so I said before that I was mad that they won't quit picking on Wally. They always do, and I'm tired of it. But this story was cool. Wally's bouncing through time into people who can handle his connection to the Speed Force. First he was the caveman, now he's Bart. That's pretty awesome, man. It could get really wacky and fun, and I'm looking forward to it. I just hope it doesn't go full trope and get too boring and predictable. And next issue, Gold Beetle is coming back. I loved her when she first showed up in the Future State Black Adam book for sure, and I am super stoked to see her coming into more titles.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm happy to say that I finally got a Flash issue that I can appreciate. It's been a long, long time. This one gets an 8 from me, man. The art is done amazing, and there was 6 people on this?
Yeah.
It uses thick lines sometimes. Say again?
I said 3 at least.
Yeah. And it uses thick lines sometimes, which I'm not a fan of, but it does it really well here. It's not overpowering, it's not chunky, and all of the coloring sells it beautifully. I'm eager to see what happens next. It definitely deserves an 8 out of 10, man.
I had to give this a little higher. This was a 9 out of 10 for me. I was enamored with this issue.
Rob went all in.
Yeah, I did really appreciate this issue. 1, for putting Wally kind of back in the center, which is something that definitely feels long overdue. 2, for just being a lot of fun. It's not necessarily bogged down with any depressing, sad, angsty kind of thing, which is funny because 2 of the issues that we're talking about have exactly that and are about Tom King. But anyway,
right.
No, it was just a lot of fun, and it was like Rob said, it felt perfect for new readers, for young readers, and I had a lot of fun reading it, and I kind of hope that this is the direction they keep Wally in, just kind of keep moving him forward, and the less we have to hear about that time that he killed all those people, the better. So, yeah, much better. So I gave this one a 7.75 out of 10. Probably definitely give it an 8.75 on a bright sunny day.
Right on.
All right, keeping up with some sci-fi weirdness, let's check in on Adam Strange in Strange Adventures number 9. So this issue was brought to us by our favorite writer, Tom King, with art from Mitch Gerrits and Evan Doc Shaner. So this issue continues the bi-narrative that Tom has been telling with Adam as he kind of follows Adam essentially breaking back into one of the Pict-controlled cities and really just kind of planning an assault there. They release some gas, which is really meant to drive the Picts out of their city, where they will be ripe for the slaughter as they open up this chasm and just essentially lead them all to their death. Meanwhile, on Earth, in the present, we catch up on Adam Strange as they are continuing with the Pict invasion, and this issue kind of just revolves around Adam checking in with members of the Justice League as he converses back and forth with Alana, who basically informs him that the report has been released on, his activities that they've been following since the first issue, and the decision that they've reached is that Adam can essentially never hold Justice League membership again. So Adam first
because of excessive use of force during the war.
Yes, because of excessive use of force.
According to the Justice League's investigation.
But Adam is particularly surprised because this is a report that has come from Batman, not from Mr. Terrific, which seemed to be their motivation. It's the person they hired to investigate Adam. And so basically we see Adam taking out Pict soldiers. He goes to talk with Batman, who basically isn't taking any crap from him right now after Adam is basically trying to plead his innocence. And even though Batman gets shot while they're fighting the Pict soldiers and Adam tries to save him, he's still kind of getting told about what he's doing wrong. And then we cut to an interview with Alana, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think is that Seth Meyers? I think it might be. I'm not entirely sure, but basically this particular scene is meant to just kind of let Alana clear the air and talk about what really happened, during the Pict invasion of Rann. So all in all, I would say this issue, while it did not move the plot forward majorly, which I kind of felt the same way about the last issue, it did have some really strong moments, particularly with kind of Alana and the TV interviewer, who, like I said, may or may not be Seth Meyers. There's a great moment with Adam and Superman, and I think one of my favorite moments in the issue is just kind of that moment where the Picts are fleeing from the city, and you see that chasm just open up and swallow them whole, and you kind of really get to see the enormity of the violence that Adam just brought on the Picts throughout this war. So I enjoyed this issue, again, even if it didn't move forward the plot. We're kind of sticking with the Pict invasion, and I get the feeling that with only 3 issues left, we're probably going to stick with this same formula of Adam fighting Pict soldiers on Earth. But I very much enjoyed the writing. The art is amazing, kind of goes without saying. So I gave this one an 8.25 out of 10, probably an 8.75 on a really good day. Rob, what did you think?
Yeah, I feel like not much really happened in this issue. Like you said, it was not much plot moving with this one. I just really want to know what happened to Aaliyah, but I feel like they're going to keep that for the last issue, or they're going to pull it like a Mr. Miracle and leave it very open-ended, and we won't really get complete plot resolution.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's what I'm afraid of. Yeah, well, that's what I'm afraid of.
Supposed to be doing a sequel to Mr. Miracle, but that doesn't necessarily mean there'll be a sequel to Strange Adventures, and who knows if we ever do get the sequel. Yeah, and
keep in mind the dude is writing a new Gods.
That's very true. Yeah,
and a new Supergirl series. So
right.
Oh, is he? Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's doing the Supergirl series.
Ugh. I'm king on Supergirl.
Yeah.
Really? I think it could be interesting.
Yeah,
could be,
or it will be interesting. Not could, it will.
You know who I would like to see because of her latest series, who I would love to see write Supergirl, is Mariko Tamaki.
Oh, yes.
I think that she could really get in and explore her personality, man.
Yeah,
that'd be
she
really
did that
good.
Supergirl miniseries with Joelle Jones back during Rebirth. It wasn't in continuity. It was like Supergirl being super or something like that. It might have been a YA graphic novel, but yeah. No, I don't know.
I think it was a YA graphic novel, but I would
Yeah.
love to see her do like a serious version of that.
Yeah. But yeah, Rob, what did you rate this issue?
So honestly, as much as I do enjoy this series and I do enjoy Tom King from time to time, this one was kind of lacking for the 12 issues, and I gave this a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah. Josh, what did you think?
So they begin to find out that Adam got a little aggressive during the Pict War. I mean, it's war. I feel like it's a little ridiculous, to be honest.
Yeah.
And the entire approach of the Justice League condemning him because it's excessive force in war it's silly as hell.
It's
Every
very
single
silly.
member of the Justice
Yeah.
League has used excessive force against super dangerous enemies. What
Also,
sets
I
them
find
apart?
I find the fact that Batman is chiding Adam Strange on the use of excessive force
Yeah.
particularly hilarious when he'll send
Right?
like Gotham hoods to the hospitals and like body casts. It's just like
It's Superman as well. He doesn't
Yeah.
hold back when he fights people like Mongol.
yeah.
When it's necessary to defend your home, you've got to do what's necessary, you know?
Yeah.
I don't see how it's any different at all. I mean,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. This seems silly. It
Yeah.
really started to get my interest, this arc. But now I'm back to being very blah about it and bored. The
Interesting.
Justice League disapproves and will release even more evidence soon about him, whatever he had to do in order to win a war. Now, if it turns out he started it, that's a totally different story. But still, the premise of the whole thing is it's a little too Super Friends for me. You know,
I get that.
the Justice League being a little high and mighty.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a shining moment in this arc, but I fear that it has passed. Other than the art, of course, it's that is always gorgeous. Shaner and Gerard, they're amazing, but that's not enough to save the issue. And I give this one a 5.75 out of 10. The art contributed greatly to that score in a positive way.
Fair enough.
It doesn't have none. It doesn't move the story. Yeah, the premise is silly. Yuck.
Yeah, no, fair enough. It like I said, my interest hasn't dropped or anything. I mean, it's kind of the same place. So at the very least, I can say it's consistent for me. But yeah, there are definitely some sillier moments. Like I said, I enjoyed the moment with Adam and Superman. But I just found the idea of Batman chiding Adam Strange on excessive force or even brutality in a war.
Yeah, exactly.
When he'll often use the phrase, you know, Gotham is a war zone and he's the soldier and that sort of thing. Like, it just feels kind of
Exactly.
crazy, but
His whole
Yeah.
thing is do whatever's necessary.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman's whole thing is do whatever's necessary.
yeah.
Superman is, well, he's not do whatever's necessary, but he's, well, I'll push back as hard as you push me.
Yeah.
Wonder
yeah,
Woman
he'll
broke
do
somebody's
whatever it
neck
takes
before.
to protect those closest to him.
Right. Okay, I'm done picking on Tom.
All right. Well, for our next issue, you better hop into your DeLorean because it is time to go back to the future, or future state to be specific, with Superman versus Imperious Lex, number 3, the big finale. Josh, what's future Superman been up to?
Well, it was written by Mark Russell with art from Steve Pugh and Romulo Fiardo Jr. and a cover by Yannick Paquette and Nathan Fairbairn. Carlos M. Miguel was on the letters. But this is a straggler from Future State, just like Brandon said, and there's no real reason for it to have come out so late. So, was it worth the wait? It starts off with the United Planets deciding how to handle Lex and his intergalactic crimes. Of course, Superman and Lois do their moral compass thing and convince the United Planets to accept refugees from Lexor. Lois and Clark go back to Lexor, but they stop to reprogram the reticulants that Superman disabled last issue. The only problem is that while The only problem is, while they were traveling there, well, Luthor blamed the escape of Superman and Lois on X-99, his personal assistant robot, and he banishes him to the moon, where the Reticulants were at, where Superman and Lois were headed to. And because he's desperate for Lex Luthor's love, the robot fixed all of them, but they didn't retain their original programming. So they go to the closest planet, which is, of course, Lexor, and they begin to harvest the gems and people there. Superman shows up and takes care of the Reticulants and then begins to battle a suited-up Luthor. One of Lex's subjects find out that the Reticulants were built by Lex, their benefactor, and they all begin to revolt. Now, Lex has a huge mountain of those red crystals, and they harness the red sun radiation, so they weakened Superman. After the people toppled it, during the revolt, Superman comes back and saves the day. It ends with Superman and Lois taking Lex back to Earth. The art was amazing in this. I really, really enjoyed it. Everything was as it should be, and Superman's costume is pretty cool in this one. I gotta say, I gotta haul that out. That big white stripe that goes down the middle, he looks a little sporty. I enjoy Mark Russell's writing, usually. This just felt really generic and unsubstantial. I don't feel like I read a comic book. I felt like I read a really long comic strip. Does that make sense? You know, it was that kind of schlocky feel to it. It was, unnecessary, not really plot driven, just done. And on top of that being an unnecessary and unconnected book to anything else, I'm a bit disappointed here. That said, it still gets a 6 out of 10. It's not that bad, but, it's just a comic book.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. This issue is kind of a disappointing and not terrible in any sense, just not, I don't know, as memorable as the first two. It just, it felt very run-of-the-mill. The artwork by Steve Pugh is as impressive as always, but that's just not enough to carry the book for me. So I ended up giving... and predictable. So I ended up giving this one a 6.5 out of 10. I think that was almost certainly because I just really enjoyed the first two issues, and I wanted to give this one a little bit of a higher score. But this is one as a solid 6.5 for me. I don't even think that would change on a bright and sunny day. It's just going to stay right where it is. Yeah, Rob, what do you think?
I'm on the same camp as you guys, but my score is a little higher. It really, the second issue had a really good ending, and you could have ended it there, and it wouldn't have been any different. It would have been perfect. This issue did feel a little overdone. It felt like it wasn't necessary, but I still had a fun time reading it. The art was fun. The story was fun. I felt like across all three issues, it felt like one of those really classic campy tales that you just go to your basement, pull out an issue, read for old time's sake, and it's just fun. There's not anything to it, and that's what I enjoyed about this. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10 because I had so much fun reading this. Yeah. But that 8
see, I get what you're saying. I might go back and enjoy reading this 20 years from now.
Yeah.
But just because it's I don't have to read anything. If I want to sit back and read an old comic book, I could just grab this. But it was so bland.
Yeah.
I mean, so the original premise, the whole thing, I thought the whole arc was crappy. I would totally prefer to have seen this in that round robin tournament earlier against any of the books that I want to read.
Yeah, it definitely did not need to be a future state title, though.
No, it felt unnecessary. Yeah. Other than Superman's costume and the really great art, it just wasn't there.
Yeah, or you could have condensed it, I think, and like Rob said, just make it 2 issues or even a oversized issue, like they did with Superman House of L, right? And even that one didn't necessarily feel like it had to be a future state title. It could have easily been an annual.
Yeah, no, it didn't.
Yeah. But maybe if you condensed the story, kept it streamlined, and I don't know, maybe it didn't have to be under future state, but I'm sure there was a better way that you could have fixed the release.
Yeah.
And also I think just because we're like a month into Infinite Frontier and future state's kind of in the past, it just feels very out of place to have it here when we've kind of all moved forward. So, yeah, it didn't really do it for me.
Gotcha. What's
All
up
right.
next, man?
Yep, and finally, we circle back to Tom King and his terrific tales with Batman Catwoman number 4. I don't know why I said terrific tales, because this week's issue of Batman Catwoman was not quite so terrific. So, this issue, I know, dun dun dun, no, this issue didn't really have a lot going for it, if I'm being entirely honest. The issue opens with a group of people skating at an ice rink with Hark the Herald Angels Sing playing in the background because Tom King loves to use song lyrics. While we are met with a narration coming from the Phantasm, basically saying that, this is the future and that the future starts today. Then we jump to another future where Helena Wayne, the new Batwoman, is running around asking for information about the Joker, but coming up short. And she goes to talk to Penguin, who basically says that, I can't really help you. Then we jump to another narrative in the past where Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle are getting ready for some kind of gala, and Catwoman, who we know has been in contact with the Joker, basically informs Batman that there is going to be a bomb under the Gotham ice rink. The Joker put it there, and that there's only 20 minutes to defuse the bomb, and that they'll have to abandon the party. Then and this is the part where I started to get lost. I wasn't sure if this conversation with the Phantasm, as Selina goes down into the Batcave, takes place after they're aware of the bomb or before. I think it's after.
I got the impression that it was after.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
What did you think, Rob?
I was just confused the whole issue. I was having trouble trying to keep track of what timeline was where.
Yeah. That's why I'm looking at my notes and I'm like, I have like a timeline that I tried to draw so I could make sense of it. And I just had like a question mark next to it. But anyway, we go back to Helena Wayne, who is now interrogating Tweedledee and Tweedledum, who are in Old Home playing Go Fish, and she kind of has a quick run through of a variety of old Batman villains. We see the ventriloquist, we see Clayface, and we see presumably Nora Freeze, who is now guarding over the body of Victor Freeze. All of them are basically giving Helena the same information, that they don't really know where the Joker is, what necessarily happened to him, but they are aware of some kind of connection between Catwoman and Joker, which seems to allude to some future conflict between Helena and Selina. But then we cut to Batman, who is defusing the bomb, only to find out that it was all a prank by Joker, and that it was never really going to explode, or at least I think that's what it's saying, as it just flashes the symbol, ha ha. And then we go back to the Batcave, where Selina and the Phantasm are discussing the actions of the Joker, given that the Joker murdered the Phantasm, Andrea Beaumont's son, and kind of how Batman's perpetual battle with Joker is ultimately going nowhere, and yeah, we've seen it all before. So then we cut to a conversation between Selina and Penguin, and Selina is basically interrogating Penguin on, what did she say to Helena? She knows that Helena was here interrogating her earlier, but she wants to know the exact information that Penguin gave to her. Penguin is kind of being coy about it, so Selina sticks her cat on Penguin's penguin, and we get this horrifying imagery of the cat essentially mauling the penguin and looking up at us with its bloody mouth. Then we go back to the past, where...
Hey, do you think that was the black cat from Ram V's run in Catwoman? The one that tries to steal Catwoman's jewelry?
Probably not. That would be fun, though.
Cool.
Probably not. I think it's just some random cat. But yeah, then we go back to the past, where Batman is catching up with Catwoman after having defused the bomb. And Catwoman and Batman are being a little tense with each other, particularly Batman, who is kind of asking where the Joker is, but the casual flirtiness of the conversation is completely gone because Batman is now aware of this connection between Joker and Catwoman that has kind of been going on behind the scenes this whole time, starting from when that guy was murdered in issue 1 and everything else, and that's where our issue ends. This issue was rough. At least for me.
Oh, you're not alone.
Yeah. What can I say? Tom King juggling a bi-narrative and strange adventures has mixed results at times, but I enjoy it. Tom King juggling a tri-narrative in Batman Catwoman is just very, very messy. And I have not been the biggest fan of this series. I've kept up with it out of curiosity, but this issue did not help. It felt very all over the place. The timeline got particularly confusing during the scenes between Selina and the Phantasm and Selina and Bruce, where I'm just not entirely sure where it's happening, what's going on. And I felt like it just was a lot of filler. The art was really good in some places, although I felt that there was a lot of space wasted that felt like you could have used it for some explanation as to what the timeline is, and it was just kind of used for action scenes or whatever else. So I don't know. This issue did not do it for me, and I gave this one a 4.5 out of 10. Maybe 5
Ooh.
On a better day, but I was not a fan.
Rob, you didn't sound too thrilled with it either.
It was really messy. Like I said before, I was just getting confused about what era was what we were looking at. The only thing that made sense was, well, I say makes sense, but the only time where you know where you are is Helena as Batwoman or whatever her costume is.
Yeah, that was the only time I felt like I was
that
aware of what was going on.
Exactly. That was honestly the most interesting part, is seeing all the villains in the future and where they've ended up. I liked that. But yeah, it's just messy. I was excited for this book when it was announced, and now I'm just like, we're only at issue 4. Oh, it's gonna take forever. Yeah,
I know, and I'm already feeling tired.
Yeah, I loved in Tom King's run of Batman. I loved that he was pushing the Batman Catwoman romance. That was one thing I absolutely loved about that entire run. And when he was pushing the marriage, I thought, okay, this is it. Like that. I love when writers take those Elseworld stories or like those future stories that one day could be picked up and then they actually bring them into the current continuity. I love that stuff. And then he dropped the ball on that and it was all a patsy, and then he promised us more romance in this, and again he's dropping the ball, it's all a patsy. It just stop tugging at my heartstrings.
Yeah. So what did you rate this issue?
This, I will say I gave it a 6 out of 10 just for the future scenes with Helena. And they did kind of pique my curiosity with what's going on with Catwoman and Joker, all the villains hinting at something, which will probably allude to nothing in the end, but it's got me a little more curious. So 6 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. Josh, what did you think?
What can I say? This was the Tom King story. Second one this week. I'm so lucky.
Yeah.
But honestly, so far this one is promising. I love Phantasm, of course, and the majority of the book was good. I don't mind flipping around in the timelines. I've read plenty like that. This one just has an extra one. Helena Wayne's personality is great, the way she's being written, and her costume is seriously badass. And the last 4 pages were stellar, and I mean stellar. Like Constellation stellar. That double-page splash, and then the dialogue between Batman and Catwoman, hell yes. But, okay, so the idea that Joker and Selina were friends just doesn't fit with anything that I have ever seen, that I can remember. I've been a fan of Catwoman since her sister's Keeper from way back in the day, showing my age there. I don't remember them ever being friends, and I don't remember her being at the top of the food chain in the criminal underworld either. Now, that said, this is Black Label, so we have to make allowances for it basically being an Elseworlds title, like Rob said. So, taking that into consideration, with the really, really good art that was in this, and the fact that we're working all of these different characters in, and I'm like I said, I'm having an easy time taking the timelines chunk by chunk. I guess I can just kind of figure out by the dialogue where we're at, and man, you guys are gonna shit bricks. I just gave a Tom King story an 8 out of 10.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Next up, Riley Rossman.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
Right? That's crazy.
You gave it an 8 out of 10, and I gave it a 4.5. The world is upside down.
Isn't that right?
You've been enjoying Bendis this month. You've been enjoying Tom King this month. What's next?
Oh, wait a minute. When was I enjoying Bendis?
I thought you enjoyed the Justice League title. A little bit.
Well, it was, yeah, damn it. It was good. I don't know, man. The seizures are messing with my brain. I'm going crazy.
Yeah, no, I wish I could have enjoyed it this week, but I don't know. This series just this is the series that's kind of the dud for me. Like Rorschach and Strange Adventures, those are the ones that I'm kind of more interested / involved in. Batman, Catwoman, just I don't know, just falls flat for me. Maybe it's because I'm still holding a grudge from City of Bane, but I don't know. Just wasn't working for me.
I'm hardcore holding a grudge from dang near that entire run, especially City of Bane. It was so messed up.
Yeah.
I'm pissed that Alfred was killed. It just aggravated me on every level.
Oh yeah,
every single level.
Death is definitely a revolving door in comics, as we all know. I'm just wonder if somebody's ever actually going to bring Alfred back.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
We get him in flashbacks all the time.
Yeah. No, I'm sure at some point they'll find a way to bring him back so they can have the old Batman status quo again.
Mm-hmm.
I hope not, because I like the direction that he's in now.
Yeah.
Not having that guy on call all the time that will do literally anything you need at the drop of a hat. Having to be more resourceful himself. That makes for a more interesting book.
Yeah, it's certainly a different direction. So
he can no longer say his superpower is he's rich.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Now it's time to pick the top 3 books of the week and your favorite panel of the week. Rob, what was your favorite panel of the week, and what were your top 3 books for this week?
Okay, so my top 3, and this is going to be a little difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 I put as Batman Catwoman. I did find it a little more interesting just with the Helena Wayne parts, and some of the art panels were more interesting to me than Strange Adventures, so that got me at number 3.
It was so cool.
It is, yeah. Number 2, I have Superman versus Imperious Lex. Just a fun read. I enjoyed it. It was a little lacking, but it is a fun read. It's just the kind of book you just shut off, forget about the world, and just absorb the world. And number 1 was The Flash. I was in love with this issue, and I cannot wait to see where it goes. And my best panel, I want to give an honorable mention to that 1-page spread with the cat after ripping penguin's throat out.
Yeah, that was good.
That was beautiful and gory. That one is what brought... That panel alone is probably what brought Batman Catwoman to number 3 for me.
Yeah.
But my best panel, just for the fun of it, was Wally in Prehistoric Times just being Fred Flintstone.
That was fun.
Sliding down the Brachiosaurus, yappa-dabba-doo. That was great.
Yeah.
When he landed there in the Prehistoric Times and he had a loincloth on, at first I was like, how the hell did that happen?
Yeah.
But then, he looked in the pool and saw he was the caveman.
Yeah.
So. But what are my top 3? My top 3 are going to be Superman versus Imperious Lex. That was a fun read. It wasn't much, but it was a fun read. It was just a comic book. Number 2, Tom King makes his way into my top 3 at number 2 with Batman Catwoman. And number 1, I just seeing Wally back and not painted as a bad guy, it makes me so happy. To have a Flash book that I'm enjoying makes me so happy. Joshua Williamson had the habit, and it happened literally all the time throughout his 100-issue run. I think it might have even been more than that. But in any case,
Yeah, I think it was around that.
he would set up great, amazing stories, and then he would forget them, all the different other forces. I mean, what the hell happened to that entire storyline? And then
I have no
there
idea.
was this whole thing where if they used their powers, they would blow up, and then that rule was running through the rest of the arc when it was necessary, but they could run whenever it was convenient.
Yeah.
It was just horrible for me. I couldn't enjoy it. But now this fills me with so much joy.
Yeah, for me, there
I'm
were definitely
happy.
moments of Joshua Williamson's run that I was like, oh, that was like a satisfying arc. But as a whole, I can't say it was like great. I know for me, I really enjoyed the first arc that they did with Reverse Flash running scared. Like, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty good. But then, like, when they did the arc with the negative Flash, like Barry was slowly having the negative Speed Force, they just kind of had it for that one arc, and then it just kind of went away.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. They just drop these big,
Yeah.
huge
Exactly.
things when they're in the middle of it. And it's like, okay, we're done with that now.
Oh, okay.
No thanks.
Bye.
Yeah,
Right.
I was thinking about his run after reading this week's Flash, and I just realized that what I loved about it, every story arc, there was all great ideas, but just the execution was lacking. I found it in every
Exactly.
storyline.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's the exact same way that I feel about Brian Michael Bendis. The
Oh, yeah.
characters that he comes up with and the ideas that he comes up with are great. Somebody else just needs to write them.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that seems to be with like a lot of them, especially the Marvel stuff. I know we're the DC show, but like, I think I have like a list of a lot of the Marvel characters that he created that didn't really get their personalities until after he stopped writing them.
Exactly. And Miles Morales is probably the only one that I would say he had a good grasp on.
Yeah, but like Layla Miller, nobody
No,
cared about Layla
absolutely
Miller
not.
until she was in X Factor, and that was all Peter
Exactly.
David. So
Yeah.
that's like,
Yep.
yeah, no.
He's like, that's his whole shtick, is inventing new people.
Yeah.
He's the idea guy.
Even if they're new big bads, and then they get slammed away in like 3 panels
Yeah.
after a huge 3-issue setup.
Exactly. But yeah, my top 3 books for this week, coming in at number 3, I had Superman versus Imperious Lex number 3. While it wasn't the best conclusion and was kind of weak overall, I had a decent enough time with it that, you know, I think like I said, I gave it a higher score because I really enjoyed the first 2 issues, and, you know, it was fine. Coming in at number 2, I had The Flash, number 768. Great to see Wally as The Flash again. Really fun setup moving forward. I'm hoping these are the kind of fun sci-fi stories they tell moving forward. And then at number 1, I had Strange Adventures number 9, actually. Even though Tom King had arguably one of the biggest duds this week, Strange Adventures, for me, number 9, was still pretty strong. And I'm still interested in the mystery, and I love the art, and I love Adam Strange, so it just kind of worked for me in some places, even if some of the scenes with some characters like Batman just kind of seemed silly when you kind of really analyze them. But my panel of the week definitely has to go to that double-page spread. I think it's of Wally after he first wakes up in like the Jurassic times, and you just kind of see like all the grandeur of the
Everything.
Jurassic times, and he's just kind of like standing in the vast, and it's just really beautiful. So props to, I think his name is Marco Santucci, the artist. Props to them. absolutely incredible.
Yeah. I forgot to give my favorite moment. That's going to be the double-page splash of Catwoman in the Batcat book.
Yeah.
That was absolutely gorgeous, man.
Yeah. And Catwoman didn't have, Catwoman didn't have 2 ass cheeks this week, so that's always a plus.
Right? Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
And I guess with only 4 books, it's pretty easy to place the stinker, huh?
Yeah. So it is time for
the biggest stinker.
Oh, that's nasty.
And I think we kind of know which title made our biggest stink list today, but let's just see what we got. Rob, what was your biggest stinker for this week? I get the feeling we already know.
Yeah, for me, Strange Adventures. Yeah, it just was like a filler issue almost. Art was fun. Some of the interactions were fun. That final word bubble from Adam Strange was a nice hook, but who knows if it'll go anywhere. This really felt like a filler issue.
Yeah, Josh, what was your biggest stinker for this week?
Oh, it's the same. Strange Adventures, of course. Other than Gerard and Shaner's art in here, that shines. You can't knock their art. It's beautiful. These guys should be on much better books. Other than the art, man, I feel like it definitely deserves its spot this week. It's just really weak with the Justice League acting all high and mighty, and then not taking care of the problems themselves, but handing it over to the U.S. government to do it. It was really, I feel like it was lazy writing, man. Yuck.
Yeah,
that's my biggest stinker.
That's fair. Yeah, no, my biggest stinker is not Strange Adventures, but the other Tom King book that I had to talk about, Batman Catwoman number 4. It just did not do it for me this week. It's too jumbled, too messy, and handling 3 timelines is just, I mean, maybe it was just this issue, I don't know, but I had kind of been feeling that way for the past 3 issues, and this one certainly didn't help, so that was easily my biggest stinker for this week. Just not satisfied. And that's the show. Come back next week for more DC Comics talk. We'll be reviewing Batman number 107, Crime Syndicate number 2, Suicide Squad number 2, Green Lantern number 1, and The Swamp Thing number 2. We'll see you there. Awesome. And as always, you amazing humans out there, thank you so very much for listening. You're the reason why we do this. Visit campsite.bio/notarobotcomics to hear all of our episodes on nearly any podcast platform, and patreon.com/notarobotpodcast for the exclusive content that we make for our patrons from all of our offerings. Kids Corner, Real Talk, movies, TV, and more. Again, starting at just $1 a month. Visit notarobotpodcast.com, and that will take you to everywhere you need to go for everything Not a Robot. And with that, there is only one way that we say goodbye around here. Until next time,
be good to each other.
And don't be a robot.
Just